Alright, so in the last class we did this script, the video settings. If you still remember what we have done, we wrote the function. Of here. We wrote a function how to set the default settings of our video configuration, and in this set a defaults function we call several other functions, and those functions are setting different aspects of your video settings in your game. So you have seen a lot of them when you play the game, right? So this is how we actually do that in Unity. And the reason why we want to do this video configuration is because we want our game to be adapted to different kinds of workstation or laptop. If you have a fancy graphic card or not, we all want our game to run there fluently. That's why we have these options for the players. Okay, so what are those options? First is the overrule settings. This actually, you see, it's pretty easy, like set level, just one statement. However, at the back side, Unity has done a lot of that game engine has already done a lot of work for you. If you are interested in what actually happened at the back end, you're welcome to check the documentation. And also when you take the computer graphic course, I don't know if you have taken that or not, computer graphics, yeah, and when you actually take that course, you will learn more about what's actually happening when the computer is doing the rendering to your 3D graphic and your game, those things. Okay, so what we're doing here is if you look at those methods, they actually are taking, some of them are taking the parameters which cannot be directly used by the Unity platform. For example, this set settings, it's taking a parameter of the type string. So however, for this quality settings start setting quality level, it actually takes the parameter as an integer. So this a problem how you switch them, how you switch from a string to integer. You can do that in this method, it's okay. And if you are trying to write some the other way of doing that is you put every convert into one method, but you do tell the method what do you want to convert. You want to convert the set settings parameter to the parameters that Unity actually want to take. So that requires you can create another separate script to do this whole work for you. But here you only do set settings quality, this statement. So that's another idea of doing that. So you separate the whole convert service to another script. That's another idea. But here it's easier to understand. Yeah, in this course we just require you to know how this works. And if you are actually thinking from an engineer or software engineer the perspective, actually you kind of want to construct your project with different separate modulars, so that when something happens to the conversion, when we change the GUI is no longer sending the low, medium, and high. The GUI is sending, for example, the GUI is sending very low, medium, and very high, things like that. So you won't need to change the function here. You just need to go into that conversion convert service script and change that script and leave this script like this. So yeah, that's just an idea of doing that. But here, yeah, as I mentioned in the last class, why we're doing this conversion here is because when we create a GUI, we assume that the people who implement the GUI, maybe he doesn't know that the set quality level function is taking an integer. Okay, we assume that because sometimes maybe the UI people, they do not know a lot at the back end. So all they want to do is, yeah, we discuss, and we're not expecting them to know those details. So when we discuss, we may have agreement. We agree on some certain interface between the GUI and the backend. So this is the interface. So we agree on we should have a set settings function. It takes a string as the interface, as a parameter. So that is interface. So we agree on this interface, and then upon the agreement, the GUI people will send the string from the GUI, and you receive the string from the GUI. And when you actually doing that implementation, you find out that quality settings dot set quality level, it takes the integer. Then you doing the conversion. And if we change to another GUI, still we need to do some other conversions. Maybe as an example, so very low, medium, very high. So at that time, if your interface changed, you still want to the other way. If it's a GUI people, they are doing some maybe front end with still those interface, and then this interface can be implemented by another platform, maybe another game engine, but still we're doing the same thing. We take the string as a set settings, we take the string, and maybe in the other platform, it's not like quality settings dot set quality level. Maybe it's a more complicated way to doing this. But if the interface remains the same, we do not need to do any more modification to that GUI. So that actually saves a lot of work from the perspective of a big project. If you are doing that, it's gonna be beneficial for you and your team. So important thing is, yeah, the main idea is separate the GUI, the backend, and maybe separate another layer in between which convert from the GUI to the backend, or which connect the GUI to the backend. So yeah, that's an idea for you maybe to get familiar a little bit with. If you take software engineering course, you will have more idea about that. Okay, let's go back here. Basically we'll have finished all of them. Set resolution, vsync, anti-aliasing, field view, shadows. Yes. Okay. Now let's add another script. New script. I'll actually create a function called myGUI. So this is selectable because of what? I mentioned that in the last class. This script is not checkable, but this script you can check it or uncheck it. So what makes that happen? Remember? What makes that happen?
You cannot check because you got rid of the start update.
Yeah. It's the start and updating. Because in this my video settings, we do not have a start and updating function. So it doesn't matter if you check it or not. Okay. If you still remember those. Okay. Right now we will going to write a function in this script which actually create a GUI, and then use that GUI to configure, to call those functions, setting, toggle, shadow, to call those functions in this script. Okay. Actually, one way to do this. Okay, I think first what we need is a reference to that object, to this my video setting object, right? Because what our intention is to have access to all these functions, Maybe include this one, yeah, to all these functions. So we actually need a reference to there. We need to know where is that object. Okay, so here my okay, so here we actually have this my video settings here. Then what we want to do is we want to set this main camera's video settings, which is reference to this object. So this script will create an object when actually we render this game. So here we have reference to this script or to this object. Because when you render, every script will create an object. Every object will have some space in your memory. This is kind of giving the address of that object in the memory, so that you can have access to it. And then we can actually call this video setting thing to do whatever we want. Okay, maybe as a starting point we can call video setting dot video setting dot set default. I don't know why it doesn't come out. Okay, fine. Yeah. Okay, and then we are trying to create a GUI. So in order to create a GUI, we need a rectangle. Remember how we usually do that? Public rectangle. Option rectangle. We make it start from 0, 0. It's a position, height, wide, and height. 500, 500. Okay. So then we can actually have an onGUI function. Public void onGUI function to actually create the window for that. Yeah, actually I want to do is options right. So GUI dot we actually need another why it doesn't come out. 0 and options rect. So that's a rectangle. And we need a function to actually create that. And we need a name for that window. Options. Then we need a function to actually create that window. It always take an integer. Okay. Here is we create all those button. That's the checkbox. It's like that. Okay, so first is the GUI layout dot we create an area. Rectangle, so we start from 0, 15, 50, 800, 800. So that's we want an area that to create those elements. I don't know, somehow it doesn't pop out. Let me restart this a little bit. Come on. Okay, here we come. So, okay, now it should be able to pop up something we want. GUI dot. Okay, nice. Label. We want tell which is this button going to control. So first of all, let's do this set settings. Okay. So quality setting. New rectangle. 130. Actually, for this part, if you want to decide which area should I put this label, which area should I put those a button, sometimes you have to tweak it around and change those height and weight and this starting position to make it look better. Yeah, but it's actually when you do it more, you know that where should you put them to look nice, to make them look nice. But these are the settings for the position and the size. So here we create a label, we need a position size. What more important is what is in the label, what is the context in the label. Right. Quality settings. Okay, quality settings. All right. So in quality settings, we have three. Remember, we have three things we can do. So we have three buttons. So we need to create first button. Button. Again, we need another position. 25, 20. 75, 20. GUI button. Oh, we actually need a new rect. Then the second thing is, what do you want to show on this button? So this is height. Okay. Okay, so if this button is pressed, what do is we call this video settings. Video setting dot settings dot set. Here actually we're trying to set the resolution. Set resolution. Let's see. We are trying to set the resolution. Yeah, it takes two parameters. First, if it's full or not. Yeah. So this is we are going to control if it's full screen or not. By default we make it false. Okay, so here set resolution 0 and full parameter.
Why are we setting the resolution?
Here of this function, remember what we did in last class? We have resolution, so we send the integer kind of like an ID. If it's 0, we set this
That's not what I mean. I mean, in your other menu, we were using the set quality, and then it was high. But instead of setting the quality, we're setting resolution.
Oh yeah, yeah. So here we can try to call this function. We can try to call the set settings to low, medium, high. But since we have very simple game thing, it might not be very obvious if we set this setting. So let's just try to do this. But it's the same. If you want to call that, if you want to call this function, you just need to change the name here. But here we're trying something different. Okay. So this is high, and as how many we have? We have 5 of them, right? Well, I think let's call this resolution. This is what create less confusing. Okay. Let's say very high, high, medium, low, very low, yeah, things like that. Okay, let's see, and we need to change this because this is 0, so this is gonna be 1, this is gonna be 2, this is gonna be 3, this is gonna be 4. Right? Do we have, yeah, 4 of them, and we call this here. All right. And also we need to adjust the position of the button. We want to keep the button the same, but still we want to change the position. Okay, so it's gonna be 25, right? No, yes, then 25. We want it to align on the x-axis, so it's 25. Then we need to add something to the 25 here. Since the let's do 100 here, and then we add another 75, right? Yes. Another 75, we add another 75 is, yeah, okay. Yeah, now let's see. Okay. kind of want something. If kind of want to use a button, no, the keyboard to control if you actually open that or not. So if input dot get key dot key code dot option, we want to change GUI open to the opposite way, so we can control the open and close off that options window. Okay, right now we don't have anything. If we press O, we will have an options window. Okay, we have arrow. Oh, here. Begin area, we need an end area or so. Press O, we see that we have this very high, medium, low, and very low, right? As if you want to adjust this, maybe you want some space between this buttons. Okay, let me ask you this question. If we want some, so right now, yeah, let's try this function. We have O, right? We have resolution, very high. And if it's very low, okay, yeah, we need to build a we need to build it in order to see the actual window. So if we press O, we have this options. We have very low. Okay, this is very low resolution because we are using a window, so it just squeezed in. And if we low this resolution, make the bigger window, and medium and high, actually a very high. Yeah, so that's actually how we control this. Yeah. Also, if we are here, sometimes we want, yes.
So if that's in full screen, like when you make a build, how does that affect, I guess, would you be able to tell, or would it just be sort of resizing within full screen?
Because we're using Windows, so it resizes it. But if actually we are doing the full screen, then we should be able to, if we're doing the full screen, we can tell the difference of the quality. So the thing is here, you do this, because this is full screen control. We use 1, and then we have another build and run. Okay, I want to add another thing, because most of the time when you quit a game, you hit ESC escape, right? Because just now we just click the button. If we're in the full screen mode, we want kind of a way to quit the game. So let's add another thing here. If input get key done, key code dot escape, we want the system to quit. Application dot quit. It's quite simple. Okay, let's build and run. Oh. Okay, so right now it's full screen mode, I believe. It's very high. Come on. What's going on here? If we're setting as 1, we'll have a full screen, right? So we want this to be true, and this will return a true, as we are having 1 here. So it should be a full screen, right? Because here, if we send 1, because this is 1, right? Oh, okay, gotcha. I shouldn't allow this to be public, because the thing will not. Okay, so you can see it's changing the resolution in the full screen mode. Just high, low quality, very low. Yeah. So because you can see we keep changing the size of this options window. You know that's why? Because we have fixed resolution, fixed width and height of this option window. But if you are changing the resolution of the full screen, it actually changes the area that this window will occupy on the full screen. Does that make sense? Yeah. Because right now the width is about nearly 2,000 pixels, and this is I think this is 600, right? I set up 600, yeah. this is 600 wide, and the whole screen is 2000, so it's about that part of the full screen. But if you change to high, so I think it's this is about, it's lower, but I forgot. But this low resolution, this is gonna be something like 1000 or something like that. So you can see it's occupy like more part of the full screen, a larger partial. If we hit escape, we actually quit this window. So yeah, so that's how we set the resolution. And let's see what else. Resolution and FOO is anti-aliasing with toggle the shadows. Yeah, so we want to try different GUI element. One is button, and the other one is the slide bar. Let's see. So let's pick this one. Set field view. Let's see how we do that. Okay. Set field view. Okay. FOV slider bar. Alright, let's see how we do that. So first we need a label. It's the same GUI dot label. New rect. Right now we want the Y to be Y start from 0. Yeah. Okay. So field view is going to be 25, 40, 130. Okay, and for this we dot label. Oh, I forgot to give the label, the actual label here, field of view. Alright, so we want to use the slide bar here. So let's see, what is the parameters the FOV take? So it's a float. Okay, so that's actually the angle of the field view, or the angle of your camera. Maybe 90 degree, captured 90 degrees, 60 degrees, things like that. So we actually need that float. Float FOV. We set the default as 90 degree. So we need this, because this slide bar is going to return a so when you manipulate the slide bar, you can see it will return a value. So we assign that value to this. The value will represent how much are you setting that slide bar. So we use that to set the field of view. Okay. GUI dot horizontal slider. Still the same thing. It's the same pattern. We need a position. Yeah, 45. Let's say 130. we use the FOV to set the value of the slide bar, and so this two parameters, 60 to 120, it actually tells you the range of the slide bar. If you move your slide bar to the left end, to the beginning, it will return a 60. If you move it to like the end, it will return a 120. If you put somewhere in between, it will return a value like somewhere between 60 and 120. What's going on here? Grid label, grid horizontal, slider, erect, yes, FOV, yes, 60 yes, I think it's fine. Video settings dot set field view. We shouldn't have this error.
You're missing a semicolon on the line above.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so we have this field view here. To test the field view, we actually we don't need to build it. We can just try that here. Options. See, we have a field view. It's set to some default value. I forgot what I said. Yeah, 90. It's 90 right now, so it's here 90. And if we want 60, so this is 60, and if we want somewhere in between, we just drag it. Okay, so this actually controls the field view. So every time when you are trying to use the slider bar in your script, so this is basically the pattern. First, okay, this two is basically the pattern. First, you have to have a value somewhere. This field view value, and in this case, and here you call this GUI.horizontal slide bar. It will return a float, which is getting from the slider bar. So, and you initialize, actually you use this full value to initialize the slide bar, and when you manipulate the slide bar, it will return another value to this full, so that you can use this value to call the function set FOV. Right. Okay, let's try another thing, and then we can go to the audio. FOV anti-aliasing. Let's see. So some of them will be similar, so I won't do that again. Like the shadows, we toggle the shadows, no shadow, hard shadow, and soft shadow. We use buttons. So let's see if we have something else. Let's see the toggle. Yeah, let's try this. Full screen. Okay, let's try to manipulate this full screen thing here. Alright. Let's try. I think I remember, if I remember correctly, I tried to try this the last time when we were trying to create that audio player, right? But let's do it again real quick. First, we need a GUI.label. Same pattern. New rect X is the same. 25 under 25. 130. Full screen and v.toggle. Same pattern, boring. Four parameters, on and off. Oh. Oh, okay. Actually, we need a boolean here. So let's fix that later. Video setting dot. Okay, we don't actually need to call that because we just. I know this is kind of stupid. We change from 0, 1 to true or false, then we change back to 0, 1, true or false. But this is just a demo that how we actually use that toggle here. So in order to play with that, we need a build because we cannot test the full screen thing on this test window. We have on and off, we have off. Okay. On, off. Nice. Oh, I got you. So we just set in this, that's not true. So we actually need another function here. Real quick, public void set for screen. audio setting dot set full screen. It's on and off, so it's like window. If it's on, it's going to be a full screen. But right now, if you play with the resolution, it will have some inconsistency because I still need to do some more steps to make them consistent, to make this full parameter consistent with this full boolean. Oh, I just delete that, did I? But yeah, the idea is there. Okay, so next, we know how to manipulate this GUI environment, this GUI labels. Next, let's create another thing. We play with the audio, like what we did in the last sections of topic, like the playlist. We have learned that a little bit. But here, let's try to do something again. My audio, my video, my audio, yeah. Okay, main camera, my audio settings. So in the audios, we're trying to use maybe the slide bar to adjust the sound, the volume a little bit, or toggle the stereo a little bit. So let's see. Again, this you will find this script in the package I'll upload to the D2L. So if you think you can't remember, you can always check back. Okay, so let's try two different things. Let's just try this. Public void set audio type. Yeah, basically it's the same thing. Just let's try this. String speaker mode. Switch, right? Speaker mode. Mono. Okay. Audio settings. Got speaker mode. Audio speaker mode. Let's just do two of them as an example. Stereo. Okay, and in our GUI we have some something corresponding to that. So audio. Okay, or you can control the volume. You use the slide bar. Control that. Here we will show a button, so it's going to be basically all the same. Okay, I'll copy paste them if you don't mind. Okay, now we just need to change the label to another position. Maybe here. Speaker type. Alright, button, we need another position, 290, so we can line them up. Mono. Here. Okay, so that's mono, and this is gonna be stereo. Set audio type, stereo. We also need to change this 290. Close the string. Okay, so this is gonna give you some sense how you. Okay, no. We still need to configure this audio settings. This. And we can actually have that. Okay, so it's actually mono, but I'm not sure if you can tell the difference. Yeah, if you want to try to play with that, you can play at home, but this is how we set the mono and stereo audio. Okay, so yeah, and the rest of the thing, if you want to adjust the volume, it's gonna be similar. Like if it's here, let's just say one more thing, then we are done with that. Public void set volume. Here we use a float. And what we do here is we get component of our audio source. No, it's actually here. We actually have a audio manage to control this volume. Dot volume. Volume equals to volume. Okay, so that's actually something you can control the volume, and there are a whole bunch of method like that. You can configure different aspect of your audio. You can check in the SDK, and there's no need to mention that here because it's just something you need to check and remember when you're doing that. And also another function, okay, is something like if you remember, there's one thing called player prefabs. Remember? So if you are actually want to, after you get those settings, if you want to remember those settings, you know what to do, right? So we have those values here already. My audio setting, like my audio settings, my video settings, not here. My video settings, we have a whole bunch of like FOVs. Okay, GUIs, we have those FOVs, this GUI open, this status. So what you want to save, when you're trying to save those values, you just call the player prefab .save, remember? Let's see, one more minute. It's just the player prefabs dot save, and then you can actually get string, set string and get string, set int and get int. We have already covered that the same thing last several weeks. Yeah. So here it's just an idea that after you get the settings, you can have a method there to save those functions, to save those values and get those values. Player prefab is one of them, and another way is you save to a file, which or XML file, which we covered last week or the week before last week. So yeah, so that's all I want to talk about in this chapter. All right, thank you very much. And from next week we will work on our project. Okay, so please pay attention to the D2L. I will send out a bunch of announcements how your group and about your group, about your demo, about your project demo orders. Okay. All right. Thank you.